everyone, to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now, Dedee Pfeiffer, and she played Denise Brisbane in The Big Sky. That's right, the hit TV series, The Big Sky. Hi, Dedee. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Slasher Scotty. I love your name.
Thank you. I'm so glad to have you on.
I'm so excited to be here with you. I mean,
that's awesome.
Like that, how could I say no, right? I mean,
exactly. And it's funny because when I was talking to your publicist, Turk, we were talking to him, and I asked him about having you on my show about Seinfeld. And he's like, that'll be cool. You can talk about Seinfeld, but how about you also talk about The Big Sky? And I'm like, that's right. She's on The Big Sky. Let's do it. And we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to plug the show to keep me employed.
Absolutely. So the first question I got for you is how did you get your start into acting?
Oh gosh, long story short, I'm 57 now. Thank you very much. Proud, and I just don't lie about that. It's ugly when you lie. I was 18, and at that point I'd had numerous jobs, because back then you could work without a work permit. I was working since I was like 10 or 11 or 12 or something like that. So by the time I was 18, my sister was doing Scarface. She was in LA, and I was like, hey, I want to try this thing called acting, because I've tried everything else. A bus girl, I was a box girl, I worked in a jewelry store, I worked in a florist, I had radiator company, driving radiators around, picking up and dropping off radiators from her garage. I just did everything, and nothing like stimulated me until I thought, let me try this thing called acting. And she told me to get my butt into an acting workshop immediately to see if it's even something that I'm interested in. Well, long story short, even longer, I sucked really bad. Back 2 years of just studying, and to figure out that I suck. I kind of still feel I do, but because I figured it wasn't something I could get bored with, because I never mastered it. I don't think you ever really master it,
Right.
So I just kept going and trying like a hardhead that I am, and eventually got hired. And today I have imposter syndrome. I promise you. I always think that they meant to call the other actor, but they're just so bad, to want to say to me, sorry, we didn't mean to call you, we didn't give you the role. It really meant the girl behind you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So before we actually go into the Big Sky subjects, like we mentioned earlier, you did have a role in Seinfeld. You were in the episode The Opposite as Victoria. So what was that experience like, being on set and filming Seinfeld?
Well, first of all, to this day, I'm still in shock that I'm on Seinfeld. I don't think I understood the magnitude of being on Seinfeld, because I still kind of don't get it yet. I get it once removed. You know what I mean? When people say, oh my God, you were in Seinfeld, I go, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm still in shock. I don't think it's ever really hit me, because it's such a huge gig for any actor. It's like rites of passage. You get on there, on Seinfeld, that means something. So I can't give myself that much credit. You know what I mean? So I just go, yeah, I did. It was fun. That was an amazing set. Talk about a well-oiled machine. They were like a moving locomotive train, just beautifully rhythmed. And as a guest star, you're asked to jump on, so you got to have your chops. And I was just kind of like a deer in the headlights, just following everyone around, trying to act like I knew what I was doing, kind of like what I'm doing right now.
Right. Absolutely.
God, you got to be a good bullshitter. I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Absolutely. But so going from one sitcom to another, you were also on Friends as Mary Ellen Jenkins. You were in the episode titled The One with the Pediatrician. So what was it like filming that show?
Okay, now that's a crazy story. I just given birth to my very first son, Braxton. He was 3 months old. I was breastfeeding at the time. His dad was in the waiting room with me, and I literally was breastfeeding in the waiting room. No, I don't do it like you couldn't see what was going on. I'm like covering all that up. I was in the bathroom or whatever with a blanket, but he needed to be fed, and I was breastfeeding, so I went in to read for the pediatrician. Right. And my bad girls were pretty voluptuous, because I was producing a lot of milk at that time. Right. And so they read me and they said, hey, you want to read for this other role? And I said, sure. And when I looked at it, I went back out to look at the lines. I was like, oh my God, Joey's the perfect girlfriend for Joey. I'm never going to get this. As I'm breastfeeding my son, I'm not feeling very sexy, right? But I got it, which is shocking. Again, that's the imposter syndrome. I think they meant to hire that girl behind me who wasn't just feeding her son. So Braxton, 3 months old, was on the set of Friends with me. He took the curtain call with me. I went to work one day with vomit on the back of my suede jacket because I was burping him, and he left a gift on my shoulder that Lisa Kudrow was like, hey, got a little something because she had kids. And I look and there's vomit on the back of my jacket. Yeah, there I am, the sexiest girl for Joey. Yeah. My shoulder. But that was fun. That's
awesome. That's awesome. I'm a big Seinfeld and Friends fan, and I knew it was you like immediately when I saw that Antonino represented you, and I wanted to I knew I wanted to get you for Seinfeld because I knew exactly who the character was. Because me and my dad watched Seinfeld basically religiously when I was growing up and even into my adult years. So we love Seinfeld so all the time. We watch it, and obviously I've known you from Friends. I recently got into that maybe as of a couple years ago, and it's just I'm a big fan of both of those. So speaking of The Big Sky, what was your audition like for that?
Well, Scotty, that was crazy because David's my the creator writer of the show, producer. And I left for 10 years to go get a psych degree and a master's of social work. I didn't mean to take 10 years. I just didn't know what I was doing in college. Clearly, I graduated in 1982. Think about it. I was like a second grader. It took me 10 years, but I really wanted to help people. I needed a break from the industry. I wanted to do something that was meaningful in the world. Long story short, I'm in the last year of my internship, last year. And my brother-in-law texted me. David never texts me. And he said, hey, are you still acting? I think I have a great role for you on this show called Big Sky. And I almost dropped my phone. I almost think I did drop my phone. And I was like, what? And of course, the answer is that YESSSSSSSS. And so he offered me the role, but I did have to read for the casting director and the producers, writers, and network because I disappeared for 10 years. I mean, I could have grown a third eye and they would not, they want to kind of know who they were hiring. They knew me from all my body of work before that, but I had disappeared for 10 years. So I got to tell you, from not doing anything for 10 years acting wise and then having an audition, that was humbling.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I must say congratulations because the Big Sky has been renewed for a second season, which is amazing.
Yeah, when you remember when we just started this call, I was like, dude, you said apologize for the beard. I'm like, dude, I have boxes everywhere. I'm like about to relocate to New Mexico because that's where we're filming the second season. I'm so excited because there's alien sightings all over New Mexico. So I want to get accepted, not when I'm working, but in between I have off.
Yep, and that's what I said. Like I said, I'm doing this for a movie role, and you said you're packing to go. I'm doing this for a movie role, and you're moving to a whole new state. How do you imagine?
Storage. One son's moving out. He's flying the nest. He's now going to be 19 actually. He's actually moving out. So when I go there, I'll be driving into New Mexico with my 15-year-old, my rescued Rottweiler, rescued kill shelter cat, and the rescued cockatoo, all in my little car. Dude, and I just was on the front yard trying to put a basket on top of the car because there's nothing's going to fit inside with its dog and cat and bird and my son. It doesn't fit on top of my car.
That's so crazy. So we know that The Big Sky, like we said, was renewed for season 2. So what are we to expect from Denise in season 2?
Okay, I never knew what was going on in the first season, so let's just get that straight. I knew when I got the script, and then it always changed, right? So, and because it was COVID, I never met anybody other than the actors who were in the scene with me. And that included production too. So it was so strange it was so disjointed the first year. I'm not complaining, it just simply was because of COVID, everyone was being really safe. So I never knew who was gonna die. I didn't know who was gonna kill somebody. I didn't know how. Usually you could tell. We invite the guest stars on who are amazing, by the way, and then we kill them all, right? But you never really know how or why or who's going to do it, and and who's going to be left alive. And we set that up in the pilot, right? I don't want to spoil it, but the pilot sets it up that you never know what's going on.
Right.
Well, I can tell you that goes for the cast. I have not a clue, but I did hear this second season we'll get to know Denise a little bit more. I think. Okay. A little bit. Awesome. That's all I heard. So I'm like, okay, I just show up and do the best I can.
Awesome. Well, my aunt Luann, like I was telling you before we started filming, she is a big fan of the Big Sky, and she actually thought in the beginning that Denise was somewhat involved with it.
Well, tell Auntie I said hi. Thank you for watching the show. Listen, Aunt, let me tell you, I was starting to wonder, because even my best friend Carla's like, excuse me, I don't know if I cuss, but she was like, bitch, I know you're in on it. Denise is in on it. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I don't think I am. And she's like, you're holding it back from me because you're not going to tell me because you don't want me to spoil it for me. And I'm like, I promise you, I don't think Denise is, but it does look a little sketchy. So
Right?
even my friends, I asked my sister, I said, does Denise come out sketchy? A little shady? And she was like, yeah, a little. I'm like, I don't mean to.
Right.
So maybe the second season they will make me bad. I don't know. I really don't know. In this show, anything can happen. I mean, if they kill me off, it'd make for ratings. David E. Kelly,
absolutely.
In the 5th episode, have fun at Christmas time. Right?
Yep, and for people that don't know you, and I'm sure almost everybody does, your sister is Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's funny because I was watching on TV when I was visiting my parents this past weekend, and New Year's Eve was on TV, and it was like, hey, Michelle Pfeiffer's on. I was like, hey, interview Dedee on Monday, which is super exciting. I couldn't wait to tell you that.
Yeah, a lot of Pfeiffers going on in your life, huh, Scotty, this week?
Absolutely.
And I was born on New Year's Day, so it just makes
wow.
Part of the harmony of it, right?
How about that?
Synergy, yeah.
So let's see. So what was the best part about filming The Big Sky, and what's the worst?
I usually generally don't. Okay. I like to leave room for the good and the bad and the indifferent. The good for me has to be, this is the first time in 30 plus years that I am acting sober and not smoking cigarettes. I'm in recovery for alcoholism. This July, at the end of July, I'll be 3 years sober, and I'm really excited to say that loud and proud. I want people to know that you're not alone out there with your struggles, that alcoholism or any drug abuse, any addiction, whether it's sex, gambling, whatever your addiction is, I hear you, I see you, and I got you.
Awesome.
And yeah, I really do. And I want to lean into it. I'm really loud about it.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of acting for the first time with a clear head. And so I'm trying to find my sober legs, right? And I don't, not doing drinks with the cast. And that's usually a bonding thing for me.
Yeah.
To find other ways to fill up that time when normally you go to the lobby bar or whatever. Also, continuing on helping others while I'm working.
Right.
And so I would have to say, and I made Denise somebody in recovery. You don't know that, but my backstory that I wrote for her is that she's in recovery. And Cody, who had a drinking problem in the beginning, if you remember, Denise and he were sober sisters and brothers, like they were sober partners.
Nice.
That was my sub story that I had wrote underneath the dialogue of what the writers gave me, so that she had behavior and a connection to all the cast.
That's awesome.
So when he had his, I'm not going to say what happened to Cody, offended Denise on a whole nother level, not just the sadness of him leaving to the light, but also she lost her support in sobriety. I think the worst part, I'm saying it's not even the worst, it's really not, because I don't want to ever sound ungrateful. It would be filming during a pandemic, because there are little things that you take for granted, like hugs.
Yeah.
And at the end of the long day, I hug the crew, I hug the cast, I'm a hugger. And I barely even met the crew because we had skeleton crews. And the same thing with the cast. I just did a whole season with 3/4 of the cast I never met. Right. And that's kind of weird. People are like, how was it to work with so-and-so? I'm like, well, if I wasn't in the scene with them, I never met them.
Right.
I won't say it's the worst thing, but it's more like it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
And same thing with the crew. I couldn't tell you what any of them looked like without a mask, honestly. If they probably have no teeth, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Inverted lips, no nose. I mean, I really have no idea what people look like, to reference if I saw Joe or Jimmy or Cindy or Kathy on the, hey, remember me from Big Sky. If I saw their whole face, I don't know who you are. I'm sorry.
Right.
Put a mask on and I'll remember you.
Right. And hopefully with now, everything opening up and the vaccinations going through and everything, hopefully, season 2, and it seems like that with you moving down to New Mexico, that season 2 is going to be more left go. Maybe they'll be, you might still have to wear a mask here and there, but things are going to be less strict and more, opened.
I just heard again the running joke in the Pfeiffer family is I'm always the last to know everything, and that is true. And it's the same thing with Big Sky. Just because David's my brother-in-law does not mean at all that I know anything. As a matter of fact,
Right.
here's another piece of information. I'm like, oh, we're going to be free, and another cast member, Brian, who plays Ronald, said, oh no, I heard we're still going to be masking up. We're still going to be doing COVID tests. We're still going to abide by a lot of the CDC applications of safety. So again, I found that out from somebody else, and so yeah, I think it's because one thing that I took very seriously is that when I was in Canada the first season, I did not leave what I called my bat cave unless I was working or went next door to get some groceries, because one of us gets it and we expose the set, we shut down.
Absolutely.
And too many people need their jobs, not just the actors, but actually far more people behind the camera. Crew, they need their jobs. For me to be irresponsible and go out and expose myself, if I accidentally get exposed in the elevator going down, that's different, right?
Yeah.
My car to work, but for me to go to museums or indoor events was just so it was 9 months of a lot of isolation. So it was nice.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that you see the cast and everything on the set and like on the TV show, but you don't. A lot of people don't really realize is that there is a lot more people that are behind the scenes than there are actually showing on the screen.
That's right. And they get there a hell of a lot earlier than us, and they leave a hell of a lot later than us. They have the longer days than we ever could possibly think of. Even if we got called in early and we stay late, we're still never going to pull the hours that the crew does. So I always reach out and do shout outs to the crew because they really are. I mean, we could not do what we do without them.
Absolutely. And every position, not just acting, but like every position, not behind the scenes, is important and is equally important. And it's not just the director or the producer, but also like the boom mic operators, the camera operators, the cinematographers, the choreographers. All of that stuff is equally important, because like a movie or a TV series isn't going to be as good if they don't have good audio from the boom mic and and from the editing and all of that stuff like that. All of those positions make that series what it is. It makes it what it is from the final product.
At 100%. And something else, we have an additional team member this last season, which was the person that goes in before and after us in our trailers and disinfects them, like put the spray and stuff. And one thing I noticed is that often that person was overlooked and no one even acknowledged them. And one thing I always made sure, I do the same thing at grocery stores, I always made sure I reached out and said, hey, thank you for keeping us safe.
Absolutely. Because they're probably doing the most important job.
Yes, he, she, they are absolutely, and they're spraying down our rooms. And, that to me means a lot. Same thing at grocery stores. Whenever I'm wiping down the shopping carts, I stop, go out of my way, and say, hey, I want to say thank you for keeping us safe.
Absolutely.
Do that, by the way, and see their face, and you'll notice nobody ever says that to them because they're shocked.
Right.
Like, you're acknowledging me when I'm doing, and I'm like, yeah, I am. And I always say, how many people said that to you today? And they're like, never. I go, well, guess what? I just did.
Absolutely.
Walk away, right?
Right. And people like that, they don't need money or food or anything. A simple thank you for doing your job and keeping us safe is all they could could ask for, because they never get that. And that's something as simple can make a person's day go from like, oh, I gotta do this, to like, wow, I'm really appreciate it.
It's so true. And it doesn't cost you anything. It takes no time. Literally be like, hey, thank you for keeping us safe. Absolutely. That's all I gotta say. And they'll look at you like you have a third eye. That's okay. And you just keep going. And they kind of go, whoa, that was a random act of kindness that they didn't. People, I think it. How about this? Open your mouth, use those lips that your Mother Earth or whatever you believe in gave you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flap them in the wind, flap them, because I'm telling you, it'll warm their heart, their soul, and maybe made their whole day. Maybe they're having a crappy day, or maybe they'll turn around and do something really nice to someone else, and there you go, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. I do that shit all the time. And the only way for me to teach my boys that's how we fly in this family is to do it. I don't tell them what to do. They see me doing it and they go, absolutely. They see the effects and they see the response. And then they go, oh, whoa. My one said, do you have to talk to everybody? I said, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you know there was going to be a season 2 when you were filming season 1, or did you have any suspicions?
I know nothing, but I did have strong suspicions that we would, because I know that ABC loves the show. The showrunners love the show. The actors, we love doing the show. And the fans seem to really like it. I don't read reviews, so I don't know if people love or hate Denise or the show for that matter. I hear things from the other cast who do read reviews. But from what I understand and what I keep hearing is that people really do like it. So I thought it would be a shame and it wouldn't make sense. The math wouldn't make sense if they didn't bring us back, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, because we're like the cliffhanger kings of network TV that borderlines up against cable, because we really push the envelope.
Absolutely.
With what we're getting away with on network shows, because usually that's more cable, and we have a new showrunner, Elwood, so he's going to really push it into the kind of the cable feeling versus the major network safe showing. I mean, we already we just tell everybody.
Awesome. So if you had control of your character for season 2, you can write for Denise. What would you have her do in season 2?
I think it would be hysterical if she really did get abducted and she came back and told everybody and they thought she was nuts.
That would be really
nobody believes her and she's dead serious. Like, I'm killing you. And they're like, wow. And then they really start to worry about my mental health. But it's right. I think
that would be really cool.
I know, and I'm like, and I would play it serious, because like I said to my sons, if I got abducted, would you believe me? And they like, Mom, you're such a smart ass. And they said, well, if you told me, if you said it like that, no, I wouldn't. And then both of them eventually stopped and they went, yeah, I think I probably would believe you. And I said, yeah, right. But then wouldn't it be weird to try to convince other people? My mom was adopted. Okay, did they 5150 here? Is she been institutionalized yet? I think that's an interesting twist, because so many people claim that they have. Yeah. And I'm into, hey, why not? I don't know that that's not real. So I leave room for it to be real. And it goes with her quirkiness, and it represents a population of people who swear that shit's going on. Yeah. Right? Why not have her that? And they can also start questioning her mental health. Right?
Absolutely, yes.
That's fun.
That would be really, that's a fun role to play.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we are almost out of time. So I just want to ask you one last question. Other than the Big Sky, do you have any other projects in the works that you would like to promote to the listening and viewing audiences?
Right now, I'm just trying to be the best single mom of 2 teenage boys as I can, embrace my older sons launching from the nest, and bringing my 15-year-old to New Mexico, new environment for almost a year, and my animals. And also, I just graduated while filming the beginning of Big Sky. I graduated with a Master's of Social Work.
Awesome.
So thank you. Yeah. And thank you. God, that was 10 years of woo. And so my area of concentration is mental health, substance use, and those experiencing homelessness, and all social welfare issues that are on a micro, meso, and micro, and I'm confused. Basically on all levels of society, coming from a biopsychosocial lens. So I one day would love to have my own talk show where we talk social issues, and I bring on all my friends who are social workers in different areas of concentration. Some are in the field, some are in domestic violence, some are with the gerontology population, not just kids. I mean, really, we have diverse degrees, and we work with the LGBTQ. We work with, my first year was homelessness, second year was mental health in the Department of Mental Health. There's so many areas of things that I would love to talk to, say an open room, like a town hall setting, where we have conversations about things that people wouldn't know where to go for resources, and have difficult conversations like, hi, I'm Dedee Pfeiffer, I'm in recovery. That's right, I'm recovering alcoholic. It ain't cute, it ain't sexy, it ain't pretty, but guess what? It's not who I am, it's what I live with, and that's okay, right?
And here's the TV show name, The Big Social Working Dilemmas. There we go. Play a word on the Big Sky.
Damn, are you gonna be a guest star on?
I will. I'll be on there.
Excellent.
That sounds awesome. And do you have any social medias you want to plug? I know you have an IMDb as well.
I do, yes, and you got some weird pictures of me on there. Anyways, like, my publicist. Well, I only have a manager and a publicist. I only got a publicist because I'm a big Sky. I'm really doing it simple Simon. I don't even have an agent. I don't read reviews. I'm just kind of like organic over here doing my thing. Dedee Pfeiffer official.
Okay.
On Instagram. And I only got that because of the show. My boys are mortified that I'm on social media. There are rules in which I have to abide by not to embarrass them. Not allowed to talk about politics, not allowed to get on my soapbox and preach, So mine's very fluffy and fun. Things about the show. I always are posting about Pandora the cockatoo because we have coffee in the morning. Yes, the cockatoo and I have coffee and toast. And my animals, all animals around the world. I love, madly in love with Mother Earth and all of her creatures. So I just post a lot of fun, uplifting things. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And I'll check if I'm following you. If I'm not, I will. I definitely will.
I will follow you back when Turk tells me he has to tell me, literally spoon feed me like a child, how to do this social media. Like I forget how to post to do publicity for a podcast that's coming out, and then I get in trouble. Like, why didn't she? And I said, tell them I'm just stupid, that I don't know what I'm doing.
You'll get follow. I have 3 accounts. I have a personal account, which is also my author account. It's McCoy Author. I have my production company's account, which is Greystone Films Prod, and then I have my Slasher Scotty account, which is Slasher Scotty. So I'll follow you on all 3 of them.
Okay. And did I mention I was 57 and I probably don't remember anything you just said, right? So seriously, Turk will tell me what to do and how to do it. And I apologize now if I don't mean to not care. I actually do care. I just don't know. I get in trouble.
Absolutely. I will be reaching out to Turk after this. I know I was talking to him yesterday. We were just talking about the interview and just basically state, just a reminder, and I'm like, yep, I'm already on it. Have my questions already done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited we got to make this happen. I know originally, and when I was promoting the interview when we first scheduled it, it was supposed to be for tomorrow, but something came up and we moved it a day earlier, which is even better. I got to have it a day earlier. So I'm really excited.
A whole week of just Pfeifferness and it's Monday too. Right?
I know, exactly. So it's great. So this is my first of 2 interviews.
Dopamine and serotonin and all those really good brain chemistries firing on the first day of the week. Otherwise, it's just a shitter week, and you don't want to make the whole week, right?
Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad we got to make this happen. It's been an honor to interview you. I thank you for making the time for me. It's been great to have you on my show, Dedee.
Thank you, Scotty, and you have a beautiful day. I'm very excited.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You do the same. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe.
You too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.